Myanmar's military leaders say they've pardoned and released more than 23,000 prisoners, but very few of those who've been arrested since the military coup are believed to be amongst them. Rights groups say that around 3,000 protesters have been detained since the military seized power on February 1st. Demonstrators were out again on Saturday to welcome moves to set up a national unity government made up of members of the ousted cabinet of Aung San Suu Kyi, leaders of the protest movement and representatives of the country's major ethnic minority groups.
Chief of Myanmar, Min Aung Hlaing, will be attending the ASEAN summit in Indonesia on the 24th of April. This will be the leader's first foreign visit since the military junta ousted and detained Myanmar's democratically elected government earlier this year. The Thai spokesperson has confirmed the chief's attendance. Leaders of the 10 member nations will be part of the summit, which will take place in the Indonesian capital of Jakarta in the coming weeks. The reports have suggested that Myanmar's newly formed parallel government, the National Unity Government, will likely decry the military junta chief's participation at the meeting. Now, as per the NUG, it is the legitimate political authority in Myanmar and not the military. The parallel opposition has also called for an international recognition and has urged the ASEAN to reject General Min Aung Hlaing's participation in the meeting and rather has insisted that they are the ones who should be invited instead.
Navalny's death could be imminent. That was the message from his doctors in Russia on Saturday, announcing that the jailed activist needed urgent intensive care. In a letter posted to social media and sent to prison officials, Navalny's personal physician Anastasia Vasilyeva and 3 others requested immediate access to the prisoner, warning he may suffer cardiac arrest and kidney failure from high potassium levels in his system. The 44-year-old opponent of President Vladimir Putin was imprisoned in February and is currently serving 2.5 years on old embezzlement charges. On March 31st, he began a hunger strike, demanding access to his own medical team for back pain and numbness in his legs and hands.
There was a female colonel standing over me this morning saying, "Your blood tests show a serious deterioration in your health and that there is a risk. If you don't give up the hunger strike, we're ready to start force feeding you now." She went on to tell me about the delights of force feeding, a straitjacket and other joys.
In Lahore, supporters of the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan, or TLP party, gathered Friday, chanting religious slogans outside party headquarters. Their protest organized offline, as the government had shut down all social media and instant messaging apps for hours. By Saturday, those networks were back online and being pressed into service by Prime Minister Imran Khan, who took to Twitter with a controversial demand.
I also call on Western governments who have outlawed any negative comment on the Holocaust to use the same standards to penalize those deliberately spreading their message of hate against Muslims by abusing our Prophet, peace be upon him.
Khan is seeking on one hand to placate hardline Pakistani Islamists who have taken part in days of violent street protests led by the TLP, in which hundreds have been injured and 4 police officers have been killed.
For several weeks in 2019, the open arms bobbed under the hot sun of a Sicilian summer. On board, around 100 mostly African migrants. Italy didn't want them, but nor did any other European state. The then Italian Interior Minister, Matteo Salvini, wouldn't let the rescue ship dock until European leaders relented and took the migrants in. To his dismay, an Italian judge has just ruled Salvini must stand trial for the migrants' kidnapping. Salvini and his anti-immigration League party had prevented several migrant boat landings, clashing with Italy's court system, NGOs like Open Arms, and the EU. Another similar second Salvini case is still awaiting a judge's decision on whether it will go to trial.
According to IRIB news agency, Reza Karimi, accused of sabotage in Natanz, who fled abroad, has been identified as the perpetrator of the Natanz incident. Karimi, 43, was identified by intelligence forces at the Ministry of Intelligence. He fled abroad before the incident. Iran's police have already issued an arrest warrant to the Interpol. The spokesman for the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran, AEOI, Barouz Kamalvandi, said last Sunday that an incident took place in a part of the electricity distribution network of Shahid Ahmadi Roshan facility in Natanz. Natanz is a uranium enrichment center located in the city of the same name in Iran's central province of Isfahan.
So Yoshi, you'll probably be seeing a lot more of me in the future.
US President Joe Biden sought to present a united front with Japan against China's assertiveness on Friday, as he hosted Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga at the White House. The talks were dominated by China's increased military movements near Taiwan, as well as its tightening grip on Hong Kong and its crackdown on Muslim Uyghurs in Xinjiang.
Today, Prime Minister Suga and I affirmed our ironclad support for U.S.-Japanese alliance and for our shared security. We committed to working together to take on the challenges from China and on issues like the East China Sea, the South China Sea, as well as North Korea, to ensure a future of a free and open Indo-Pacific.
The offices in Parktown on the corner of Hillside and Empire were burgled. As we understand it, the burglary took place overnight. It was discovered this morning. Laptops said to be stolen. It is still being looked at whether certain documentation pertinent to the work of the Commission was taken. I have tried to confirm this information with Gauteng SAPS. They referred us to the DPCI, the officers of the Hawks, who have previously, we are told, handled something similar to this, an incident where there was a similar type of break-in. So the Hawks referring us back to Gauteng SAPS, who said that they're not able to give any confirmation of this incident happening overnight as yet.
So Zimbabwe celebrates 41 years of independence tomorrow. The country has pardoned and started releasing over 3,000 prisoners under a presidential amnesty. This is being done to decongest the overcrowded prisons amid the coronavirus pandemic.
Zimbabwe's prison population stands at over 20,000, but has a holding capacity of only 17,000. And the spread of COVID-19. That's why there was jubilations at one of the country's largest holding facilities, the Chikurubi Maximum Security Prison in Harare, when a group of prisoners were released on Saturday.
Night burials have become the norm at Sao Paulo's main cemetery, as grave diggers struggle to keep up with bodies piling up. More than a quarter of the world's coronavirus deaths recorded last week were in Brazil, with new variants proving more contagious and dangerous. Health officials are even asking women to delay pregnancies. Meanwhile, a new study says coronavirus in Brazil is affecting an alarmingly high number of babies and children, whose death toll could be 3 times more than official estimates. And hospitals are running out of beds and crucial drugs for patients. International aid organizations say the Brazilian government of Jair Bolsonaro, a pandemic denier, is to blame for thousands of avoidable deaths.